It is my pleasure to be in Georgia and to use this opportunity to congratulate the Georgian Youth Parliament on their new beginning, and I wish you every success. I believe it is very important for the youth of Georgia to start in politics as early as possible. And one of the reasons why I believe that is because my generation has left a heavy burden for the current generation. In many countries around the world, you are going to inherit a lot of debt from the current political establishment, and that's not good, and that will burden you. It will affect you maybe for the rest of your life, maybe even for your children, and maybe even your children's children. So on behalf of my generation, I take this opportunity to apologize for that. The good thing that my generation has done for the young people is we have given you lots of technology. And I can see that you're using the technology widely and hopefully wisely. So that's the good part. But one thought I would like to leave with you as you consider the political machinery and the political events that are happening in your country. They are fundamentally two ways to look at politics. Either you look at the government as a necessary evil, and the founding fathers of America did that. They regarded government, when they established it after 1776, they regarded it as a necessary evil. And when you take that position, you would want to limit the power of government as much as possible. The reason it is evil is because it has the monopoly of force. The reason it is necessary is because without force we cannot enforce the rules, and we need rules in order to live together happily and in peace. So therefore we restrict government as much as possible. This has happened in the United States Constitution with multiple layers of government, and with the Constitution being worded in such a way that it allows the government only to do what is in the Constitution, and everything else is prohibited. We call that positive law. For the citizens, we want negative law. That means the citizens are told what they are not allowed to do, but everything else they are allowed to do. So positive law for the government, negative law for the citizens. The second view is that you regard government as the engine for good. And that is a view that was first proposed by the first German Chancellor, Otto von Bismarck. So to him, government was for the good of the citizenry. And since that time, and especially since the two world wars, most governments everywhere in the world consider government as the engine for good. If you take that view, you will give government as much power as possible so that it can do as much good as possible for the citizens. And when you consider the debates that you hear in your real parliament, in your big parliament, look at who is arguing in favor of more power for the government and who is arguing in favor of less power for the government. Those who argue less power think that government is a necessary evil. Those who argue for more power for government think that it is the engine for good, and the government needs this power in order to produce all the good things for the welfare of the people. The problem with the second view is that government needs not just power, it also needs money to provide all these good things that the citizens want. And this money they will take from you by force usually, and if they cannot tax you, then they will borrow, and if they cannot borrow anymore, they will print the money. And when they print the money, they will cause inflation. And when they print too much money, like the government of Zimbabwe did, where a $100 trillion note cannot even buy you an iPhone, that will that shows you that the inflation has become too high, and it will reduce the value. So you always have to weigh between these two. Is government a necessary evil, or is government the engine for good? Analyze the debates that you hear in Parliament, the arguments that are being brought forward by the various politicians from all sides, and compare them against those two fundamental positions, and then make a wise choice. That's the advice that I want to leave with you, and thank you very much for having me on. Thank you.